Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, wherever you're listening to this. This is Matt, your host on Unbearable 73, and I am in a transmitting, intercepting, terminating mode. So that's my usual title for the early part of the year. So I recently read book 18 of the Dresden Files, which is 12 months. But this entire review at the top of my head since I'm in a hospital bed and just sort of freelancing it. I read it in about 10 hours, maybe 11 hours. Now, I read fast, but combined with the fact that Jim Butcher's writing style allows people, is also a very, very quick read. He's very eloquent. His word flow is very good. And you don't have to stop and reconfigure yourself after every scene or chapter. So, as far as an overall rating, I'll do the spoiler-free stuff early. I'd rate this book like a 7.5 to 8.5 out of 10. It's not the best book in the series. I did enjoy it, but there were parts of it that felt, well, okay, I can do this without spoilers. Jim has a habit in his books of somewhere between if you divide the book into five, let's say five sections, right? Just percentage-wise. Somewhere between the second and fourth section, I mean, that chunk in the middle, he puts Harry into a precarious situation, which Harry, in theory, should be able to deal with, or he gets into that precarious situation by acting very un-Harry-like, okay? And Harry gets saved by someone who comes out of nowhere, to save him. And he does it in almost every book, and it's the one thing in almost every book, other than Changes, which is my favorite book in the whole series, that makes the Dresden Files books not a 10. So even the ones that I rate like a 9, they'd be 10 if this thing didn't happen in almost every book. That being said, Jim touches on all the relevant characters. This book is very much a book about grief and aftermath of the previous two books, which, and in some cases he touches on what the character experienced very well. In other cases, it's so-so. But again, I enjoyed this book. Highlights would be Maggie. More to say on her in the spoiler section of the review. Another highlight, obviously, is Harry Dresden himself, especially in the, like, remember the divided into 5 parts, especially in the latter parts of the book, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th parts. Harry's character builds up steam in terms of what to me, at least enjoyment of it as the book goes on. Not enough Bob, in my opinion. Who else? I really enjoyed Laura Wraith. We got better insight into our character. We got good. There was a good showing in terms of writing as a character and appearing in the novel. Not in terms of whatever she does doesn't do. There's a good showing by Mab in this. So overall, I would say 7.5, 8.5 out of 10. Right now, from here on out, I'm going to do spoilers. I'm not going to do full, complete spoilers, but I will touch on certain things that will spoil the novel for you. So if you don't want to be spoiled on it, on events that occur in the book, because I do have some objections, mostly check it. You can stop right here. And I thank you for listening. I guess the first thing to touch on is Maggie. I like how he has depicted Maggie, especially Maggie and Mouse, and now Maggie, Mouse, and what's Slash's kid's name? I can't remember Maggie's Spirit of Intellect's name right now. Sorry, hospital. I like how they depict the relationship even through this book. Okay, I don't like. Sometimes Maggie seems like he's writing when she's 4 or 5 years old, which I think she's closer to that. I think she's like 5 or 6 actually. And sometimes it's more like you write till like she's 8, 9, or 10. Now some kids can be mature beyond their ages, whereas others, but I think there's a little inconsistency with what age he's being depicted at there. But that's a literary criticism. Not depiction of characterization, just a literary criticism. I'm sure in his outline and all, Jim knows exactly how old she is at every point. And maybe some of it's because this novel takes place over 12 months and Maggie did literally age a year. Okay, so I'll give that caveat. I really loved Harry's journey on this book of grief. He showed, and more importantly, Harry's not exactly human. I don't mean the Winter Night stuff. I mean the wizard stuff. He is already like stretching his age like the wizards do. He's been exposed to concepts in his head that regular humans will never experience. So he's not grieving the way you or I would. He's grieving the way a wizard of his age might, and for all the other stuff he's dealing with, obviously. So this is a guy who knows the afterlife exists. He knows the spirit exists, the soul exists, and it goes on. Has literally met angels, okay, and talked to a guardian angel, Raphael. Not to an angel of, not a guardian angel, Uriel, the angel of like, in the novels at least, the angel of like secret inside job, so to speak. It's a crafty archangel. So he knows all that, and what's he grieving for? It comes out later on, well put in the novel. What I will be specific with the revelation, but you see Harry go on that journey of grief for the type of character that he is. Not the type of character that you or I might be if we were written as a character, right? And that's very good credit to Jim Butcher. Another thing I liked, Molly. She was, again, more of a supporting character, but I like that Harry and Molly are trying to work up their relationship. They know their own limitations, what they have to do, because they both have to obey Mab at a certain level. Okay, Harry has more free will, and yet the whole notion of Faye not having free will, I'm feeling JB is playing fast and loose the concept of free will. The Fae are bound by their existence in a way, and a set of rules that mortals aren't, but they still are free to choose to obey or disobey them to very negative consequence. Okay, if they break them, so to speak. And Harry and Molly play fast and loose with their roles as both Winter Knight and Winter Lady, as friends, as people who know there's a touch of romantic interest there, especially on Molly's part. And although one of my favorite scenes in all the novels is when Harry leads Molly along to thinking she's going to get her dream guy. He jumps the bucket of ice and goes, "This will never happen." It's like, anyway, so I like Molly as a sporting character. I like the sort of word game they had to play to obey Mab. And I liked how Mab played them all. Okay. And in defense, Mab, I really wish Harry would show a little more empathy towards Mab's position, because he knows the job she has. He doesn't know the scope of it. He can't understand it's a complex job. But literally defending the universe against the outsiders. And we get an insight into the nature of the outsiders here as well, which obviously there are different ways to interpret that type of being. And so Jim Butcher revealed it here when Harry communicated with the hunger, okay, the hunger in Thomas. So we and in Lara, the nature of the enemy becomes apparent. I like that depiction. So what didn't I like? The usual. I said in the spoiler-free part of the review, Harry gets saved scenario in every book. I just like that. I didn't think we had enough Bob and Harry interaction in this book. The final battle felt like there really needed to be more written. Like, I got that Harry said, "Go get whoever you can get here on time," and the cavalry showed up, but I don't know. It felt like it just felt like something was missing in the writing. There need to be more written somewhere in there, and it's something I'll probably pick up on a reread one of these days. It just felt rushed. You rushed is the best way, and it could have been slowed down with some more stuff added in. You know, I also felt that Harry is a prepper, and we saw him prepping magically, but Harry prepped non-magically for a long time, and for him not to have sniper rifles in the house, bulletproof, those police shields, because he is in a castle with battlements. Those crenels up there are for shooting out while you're protected. And Harry did not have that all set up, especially when he got a Valkyrie to be a bodyguard. And we know the Valkyrie is all about prep. And that part of it that knocked it down a whole half point for me, to change Harry's character a little bit in that regard. And you can attribute some of it to the grief, but not all of it. What else? I guess that's my major thoughts on it. I'm just running through it in my head to make sure and you may have heard an overhead announcement. I'm currently in the hospital. Been here for a while, to be honest. At the point of recording, I've been in the hospital for like 4 months now. Anywho, starts good. No, I think that's all I want to say. It's worth buying. It's worth reading. It's a very good addition to the series. And if anything, it feels like it's more of a setup for the next few novels and the bat at the end of it than it is a standalone. That might be fun with the final battle. Final battle felt like it was just another battle, not because this novel really feels like setup for what's coming. Okay, that would be my major criticism. I think it could have been cleaned up a little bit with maybe giving a more stronger in the novel like villain. Okay. Oh, one last thing. I really love that we got a lot more into Lara Ray's mind and perspective on stuff. It's really interesting which vampires embrace their demon or their dark demonic powers, and which vampires. I'm talking all the courts: the former Red Court, the Black Court that we see, and now obviously the White Court. Which those embrace their darkness, and which only do it the extent to which they have to do to survive. Right? That's really interesting. And Dracul I love Dracul and Maz manipulation. So there we go. That's my review of the Dresden Files book, 18, 12 months. And I urge you to buy it. Thank you for listening. Like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it. Type some questions down below I'll try to answer them. And see you next video.